Welcome back. This is the second episode of our podcast, Gevorgyan Grind. As you know, first video we discussed about overall our background, introduction to the podcast, what we will be speaking about, what our experiences are that we want to share with you guys. The second podcast we want to cover a very special thing for us, which is the gym, and we covered that in the first podcast briefly, that it is our main aspect of our daily routine. We are going to the gym and pushing each other to the limits. So we want to discuss about our experiences in the gym when it comes to our training, our supplements, diet, failures and mistakes that we made over the years, and what we could provide you as someone who's just starting the gym. So we will start with the overall training strategy for us. So I will pass to my brother to speak briefly about what is the current split that we are doing, and maybe a bit briefly also how you started and why we moved to the current split that we are doing.
So actually our split has been different over the years. So when I started off training alone, I was hitting every muscle group almost every day of the week. So it was like back, arm day, shoulders was one day, chest was one day, and legs was one day. But soon I realized that when you get to the back again, like the back day again, for example, your pump is gone. So you don't have any pump if you feel really weak in the other muscle groups during the week. So I tried the push-pull legs split, which is also really popular among bodybuilders at the moment. Worked out well. The only problem was that I didn't feel as much the muscle groups as when I did the split, where I hit every muscle separately every day. So it changed often. When we got to training together with my brother, we agreed on an interesting split because we both realized that our legs are one of the weakest muscle group in our whole body. So we thought maybe for a short time, we're still doing it like since 3-4 months, but for a short time we will hit legs every second day. At the moment they're still doing pull legs, push legs, pull legs, push legs, with maybe one rest day or maximum 2 rest days in the week. It is working pretty well, I would say. The only problem is that legs often gets fatigued a lot. So you feel when you wake up, oh, today is like leg day. I still feel my legs from the last time, you know. So that's kind of a problem, but still we saw massive growth in our legs in the past few months. We will be posting a video on Instagram actually, where our muscle groups or muscle definitions are really good visible. So you go check that out on our Instagram pages, which are linked down below. So yeah, that's a brief introduction to our split.
So as my brother said, when you train to the failure for the leg days, and as we are doing quite often the leg days, what we decided to do is actually to do over the weekend a PR leg day. We are trying to push, maximize the weight and the kilograms that we are able to do to hit the PR. While during the week what we are doing, we are lowering the weight, but we are trying to put on the volume, right? So we are trying to get to the failure. And I think it worked very well because we are able to recover quickly, but we are also able to cover both aspects, which is one, overload of the weight, and the second is to the failure. And for me as well, in the beginning it was mostly doing one muscle group per day, and I was training 7 days per week without any rest day when I was just starting. But over the time I realized that it's, as my brother said, it's really not working, so I tried to combine 2 muscle groups at a time. So I would do, for example, chest with triceps or back with biceps, leg with abs. But to be honest, I also realized that it's not really what I want. I want, because my legs, as my brother said, is really the weakest part of the body. So I decided also to do the entire day for the legs, and that's why this push-pull leg kind of combination came, and where we are doing kind of twice the leg in between of the push-pull split. So our focus is mostly on the strength. What I'm doing and what we are diverging a bit is that I'm trying to keep myself lean, while my brother is focused more on the bulk side. So I like to be shredded, and I think that's partially also because I did karate and I did martial arts, and I like my body to be flexible enough. I don't want to be stuck too big and not have that much muscle flexibility. So I'm trying to keep it lean. I'm trying to keep my flexibility still there, and I also want that abs for the summer beach body, basically. Yeah. Well, my brother can speak about why he prefers the bulk actually.
I'm just the type of guy I want to achieve, like, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, like peak male performance, strength and muscle mass over everything else. I'm not that into abs. I don't really value that much. I know that it takes a lot of work to achieve that. Also cardio, which I hate doing, to be honest. It's never been important for me.
To be honest, for me, over the 10-year period that I was training, I didn't have my abs visible. I didn't like doing abs at all because it was like you can feel your body is like pushing from the top to bottom, and you are just contracting your organs and everything what you have inside. And it was kind of a challenge for me, or one of my goals and aspirations, saying that even my genetics is not allowing me to have the abs very easily, I still want to put the work to be disciplined, basically to get that abs there, which is another approval to myself that I can achieve whatever I set in front of me, right? So it's kind of another challenge that I hit and I achieved it, and I can say that I can achieve anything. It builds that confidence there. Even if it's something that is not crucial, it's not like something you need to live, but that was one challenge that I would put myself, I would achieve it, and I would say, okay guys, I can do it, right? And it took me 1 year, and I would say it was mostly not thanks to the cardio, it was more of the diet. And we can go to there shortly to discuss our diets, what I'm doing for staying lean and having those abs visible. And I will pass to my brother to start about what diet he's doing for the bulking.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. Also, why have the goals that we have. If I had the goal to have like really lean body and abs, I couldn't keep up with my diet, to be honest, because I just value the food that I like a lot. So I can't imagine being on a diet, reducing fats, reducing carbs just to be lean. That's not my goal. I like to eat whatever is on the table. I like to not think about it. I just like keeping it simple. But I have to say also that achieving like this muscle mass and the bulking, it isn't easy. Like you have to really eat 4 times a day and with like big portions of food. And sometimes you don't even want to eat, but you still have to because you have a goal to achieve like this muscle mass and this bulk.
So what is a typical day for you, like in terms of eating? What are the foods mostly that you consume, and how many times you consume those per day?
So what I like to make for myself is surely eggs, and I sometimes overeat with the eggs. So I like to make 5 or 6 egg omelets, and to add some protein to eat extra, I like to put some salami or some kind of meat into it, and I also scrub a little bit of cheese on it, so it is like a calorie bomb in the morning and also rich in protein. During the school, I sometimes forget to eat, or I don't have the time with university to match like the eating. That is the biggest problem actually when it comes to my diet at the moment. So when I'm home, I like to eat a bigger portion. Mostly it has to be some kind of meal with meat. I like meat, and it is also rich in protein, so it's a win-win situation for me. At the moment, I'm a big lover of beef, actually, so steak or ground beef with some kind of pasta, for example, or with rice. But I also like the days where I go to the griller, put a steak on there, and get some cheese on there and stuff. So again, calorie rich.
And he does it very, very well, actually. I have to say, I have to praise him for that grill that he is doing. He has a very good skills, actually, you guys need.
It's also a hobby for me, so making burgers, steaks, everything which you can make on the griller. And in the evening, I also get hungry really late because I like to work into the late night. So to keep up with the energy and also to get the extra calories, I like to make like mostly toasts, bread for the carbs, again salami for the protein and a cheese on top, and that's my daily diet. Yeah, so really calorie rich.
I agree with most of what it said, but we can discuss the late nights and the sleeping schedule, because that's another aspect which I found very important actually, when especially you are trying to build muscles and recover quickly. But before going into that, we will speak about my diet as well, what I eat for staying lean and having those abs and shredded muscles. When I started my abs journey, actually, it was, as I said, mostly the diet. I basically cut all the sugars, no sugars at all. I bring it to the zero level, and till this day I have no sugars, no cheating days, nothing like that. Very disciplined, very strict diet, mostly focused on high protein foods. Eggs are there. It is mostly boiled for me, eggs, to keep that the fats low. The eggs in the morning is probably every day. I would say maybe sometimes I will change it with some yogurts, with some fruits, or even sour cream with cottage cheese, which I love a lot, and I think that's quite a large protein source, I would say. But it's not many people actually know about it and not use it that much. But I eat it quite often. I would say meat is key aspect of my diet. So during the day or even during the evening for the lunch and dinner, I would eat meat. It's mostly chicken and beef. Those are the two types that I'm eating, and I'm keeping the carbs low, trying to mostly get the carbs from fruits and vegetables, and probably more vegetable than fruits, because with fruits I'm trying to reduce my sugar and my fructose as well. So I would eat more vegetables to get those vitamins from veggies, and I would not eat that much of rice or pastas or any other types of carbs, or even bread, right? Zero bread, to keep those saturated fats and carbs quite low. And what I'm also doing is what is called intermediate fasting, and what that means is that after 6 o'clock in the evening I'm trying to finish my daily calorie intake. So I don't eat after 6 p.m. in the evening till the next morning, till around 9 to 10 a.m. when I first eat the breakfast.
But to be honest, I'm amazed that you still keep up with the gym. Because if I imagine not taking in enough carbs and sugar, which are the main energy sources, then first of all, I couldn't train. And second of all, after the training, if I don't eat anything, I'm gonna collapse when I get home. So I can't imagine how you skip those two. How do you keep up with the high intensity that we do?
What I noticed is the high protein diet is giving you that power, and that's a very good question actually, because I tried and I tested it actually. The days when I was eating high carbs, I was not feeling that much energy and power in my muscles, compared to the days when I was eating just high protein diets with low carbs. And I was feeling that my muscles can lift more, and I was more energized to do anything, whether that's training or doing some cardio exercises. I don't do much cardio, it's mostly paddle actually, probably the only cardio for me. The rest is actually just gym, that's all. So I would say high protein is probably the answer to your question.
And also because of the energy, maybe we can touch on the supplements that we're taking at the moment. Both of us actually, we take multivitamin, which includes all the necessary minerals that you need and also the vitamins that you need. We also take creatine on a daily basis. So I take actually 3.5 grams per day, because I didn't really see much of a difference between 5 grams and 3.5 grams. So that's enough for my body weight. And my brother, I think you're at 5 grams at the moment. But we also have some deficits when it comes to vitamins or minerals. So my deficit is at the moment vitamin D. Living in Warsaw, you can imagine that almost everybody has that here. And my brother, I think, has iron deficit at the moment. So we are also cranking up those supplements a little bit.
And that's partially because of the workouts that we are doing, right? When you are lifting heavily, we are sweating, those all minerals and vitamins are going out from your body, and the body is trying to use the inventory that it has built over time. And from the food, especially if you are on the cutting diet, it's quite hard to get that build up again. So you need to give those natural supplements to the body to be able to function normally. And I would say for me, on top of what my brother said, is also the omega-3 fatty acids, which I would say is a very beneficial supplement, and I would definitely recommend, especially when you combine those with the K2 vitamin, which is helping the omega-3 to absorb quickly, and also K2 is giving you the bone strength that you need, combined with the D3. Actually, those three vitamins are all combined in one supplement, which is quite helpful for me. Yeah, and multivitamins, iron on top of that, and creatine. Those are the three key supplements, I would say, for me.
My brother is really skeptical at the moment with what I started like almost a month ago. With studying in the university, I got to the point where I slept around 4 or 5 hours a day. So that was really not enough to keep up with the intensity that I have during the day. As I sleep late, I have to wake up early because the university starts early, finish late, and then right on eating a meal and going to the workout. And on the workout, you're kind of like slobby and you don't want to train and you don't have the motivation. And when you get home after the training, you can't even really study or work on anything else because you are so exhausted from the day. So I needed to do something, and I always thought about pre-workout, but it's kind of too many chemicals in one. Even when I look at the packaging of pre-workout, I have the feeling it's just chemicals pure, you know. I didn't want to ruin my body while trying to build health, you know. So I asked actually some of the personal trainers in our gym, and some of them said that they were taking pre-workout before their workouts and it was working great for them. But one guy said that he's only taking the two key components of pre-workout, which give this effect of high energy and high motivation, which was caffeine and citrulline. Well, he was taking 400 milligrams of caffeine and one capsule of citrulline every day before the workout. But I did my own research on that. I got myself the caffeine capsules and the citrulline capsules. What caffeine does, you will know, just boosts up the energy. I take 200 milligrams and it works great for me because I actually never drank coffee, so that is enough caffeine to keep me cranked up. My brother also always notices that when I come to pick him up with the car and I'm already on like 100 heart rate. And citrulline, what it does, it gets more blood pumping through the body and of course to the muscles. So you also feel kind of a pump after you worked out or during your workout, and it also increases your muscle endurance during the training. So it has worked pretty good for me. Sometimes I see that if I take caffeine and citrulline 3 days or 4 days in a row and then I don't take it one day, I kind of get used to it and I can't really train with the intensity that I could train actually. But what I am starting to do right now is only taking caffeine and citrulline on the days where I really feel tired. And on the rest of the days, if it's like I feel alright, then I just train without it.
And I think you can find the alternatives to it, because I'm not a big fan of the medication. I mean, in terms of the supplements that we take from those capsules, I will be better fan of getting it from the sources that are made by nature. So the caffeine, I would change it to what I told you about matcha, and I think it's working really well. It's alternative to coffee because it still contains a lot of caffeine. Compared to coffee, you don't feel that crash afterwards after some period of time, so you don't have those jumps and downs. You just take the matcha and you feel energized. You don't feel hunger for quite a long time, and you also have that energy that the caffeine will provide to do the training.
Well, I have 2 points on that, which could argue against it. First of all, I don't think that you can get 200 milligrams of caffeine out of one matcha. For sure
not. But what is against your point is that addiction to it, that you get used to it, your body is used that you are giving it before the exercise, and then if you don't take, then you don't feel the same power.
Well, that's why I avoid it on days where I feel power.
But if you take the matcha over time, every day for example, which is nothing that you can overdose with, It's quite an healthy alternative and kind of a green tea.
But still, it doesn't taste good. So that's the second point, actually. It's bitter. I don't like it.
You just put some honey in there, and guys, it can feel better. When it comes to citrulline, I would say cayenne pepper, turmeric, and black pepper combination with your meals, or even I was going crazy in making some drinks, and my brother knows about it. Putting there the cayenne pepper, the turmeric, the black pepper, some cinnamon even, ginger, onion, and lime and lemon, and mixing that all and then drinking as a tea actually.
Yeah, there was a time where my brother was like a wizard. Like every time I would call him, he was cooking something. Like he found something in the fridge and they put it into a drink and drank it. I didn't understand what he's doing.
But that's giving you very strong power actually, and I felt it, to be honest. Not only it gives you the immune boost because all those actually ingredients are very healthy and boosting your immune system, it's also giving you quite a strength and the blood flow through your veins that you can feel actually during the exercise. Make as an alternative that kind of combination from nature rather than taking a capsule. Yeah.
Well, if you can do that, it's great. But if you're like me and don't like the taste, I think in a moderate amount, taking supplements isn't really bad in the long term. You
I
know?
agree.
So don't crank up like 600 milligrams of caffeine, of course, but keep it moderate. Maybe start with 100 milligrams, then get a higher dosage, like 200 milligrams, and just see what works best for you.
Yeah, for sure. And when it comes to the protein shakes, actually, I'm not a big fan of those. I tried it for some period of time. It didn't work out for me because I feel like my diet is already high protein. So I wouldn't recommend to add protein, to be honest. At least it didn't work for me. I don't know what's your thoughts on that.
I bought actually a protein powder. I used it also, but I didn't really like it. So I like to get my protein is the one source that I like to get naturally.
Yeah.
Because we also eat meat like every day, so our diet is naturally just already high in protein. But on the days where I feel like I didn't get enough protein into the system, I like to go into supermarket and buy like these. I'm sure you have seen like bottles of already made protein shakes with like an average 25 grams of protein. Again, it's if it is in moderate amount, I think that it isn't really unhealthy, but you should always try to get your protein from natural sources.
For sure. And let's talk about what else is like working for us and what's not working for us actually in terms of the effectiveness of it when it comes to the training, when it comes to the style of exercises, and what didn't work actually, right? And what we don't like doing. For me, I would say I started naturally. I was against all the supplementing, of course, keeping the vitamins there actually, but in terms of creatine and protein, etc., those things actually were aside for me. I would say creatine is actually one thing that you definitely should take if you are serious about gym. And I think my brother actually introduced me to it. For 10 years I was training without it, but I saw a huge transformation after starting to take the creatine. And of course, it's the most studied supplement out there, and the side effects are minimal, but the benefits of it are much higher than the negatives. And I would say probably there are no negatives. Of course, if you are able to absorb it well and you don't feel any side effects, then definitely keep taking it.
So if you have problems with some kind of organs, you should advise this with a health professional. But if if everything works fine in your body, then just try it and see if it works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to working out, I would say I see still benefits from exercising with your body weight. I would say if you are just starting, that's the best place to be. Doing some push-ups, squats, pull-ups with your body weights, trying to control that body actually, I would say that's the best place, and it worked very well for me when I was starting. Of course, over time you feel that it's not enough. You still need that weight actually and lifting to be able to build like volume. That's where working out together helped a lot. Push each other, we do the progressive overload, we are trying to push our limits, increasing our PR every week. and that's helping the muscles, for us at least, to grow the most.
And I think what also helps with training with each other, with us for example, is that we adapt our trainings programs to each other. It's not like we go to the gym and we do two different muscle groups, you know. Like even if I did push day 2 days ago and he has push day, I'll still do push day with him because that's the meaning behind training together, you know. I see a lot of friends going to the gym together and then one friend does one exercise and the other says, I don't want to do this, I want to do something else, and they get demotivated. We try the workouts. Like if my brother suggests something, I will try it, and if it works good for me, then perfect, we will do the exercise together. If it doesn't work, then we'll do something else together.
Exactly.
You know?
That's
So-
true. And if it comes to mistakes, I would say the biggest mistake when it comes to building muscles and overall training and being physically fit is skipping the days. Because here, guys, consistency is probably the most important thing. Even if you go to the gym and you don't feel like this is the best workout, you're not able to push yourself to the limits, still that you are in the gym and you are having a workout, even if that workout is not the best, that's still good enough. Because if you skip, that's the worst, basically, I would say. I was in a holiday in Vietnam for about 10 days, and I can feel, because there was a gym, I was still pushing, but the weights were not the same. So when you come back, you feel that your muscles are now smaller, you don't have the same power as you had before. So I would say consistency is the key when it comes to building the muscles.
Actually, when he came back from Vietnam, I felt stronger and he felt weaker. And then in 2 days, I got sick and he catched up again. So it's always like a race together, you
But
know. I'm still trying to keep
There is
catch up.
always that muscle memory. So even
Yeah.
if you skip, there can be some circumstances, being sick, being on travel, that you might not be able to follow your routine. But if you come back quite quickly and early, definitely your muscles will remember that and you will recover and you can come back to the same level as you were before. Okay, any final thoughts?
I think we can talk about this like for hours.
Yeah.
I would suggest actually making a second episode for our viewers about the gym sometime. But for today, that would be it from my side.
Yeah, so as we said, guys, stay consistent, stay disciplined. If you are just starting, start it easy, but definitely do that progressive overload. Follow your diet based on your preferences, whether you want to cut and be lean and have the definition, or you want to bulk. So we covered both aspects. And yeah, follow us on our channel to make sure that you are tuned to our next episodes. And definitely go check out our social media, where we are posting regularly our workouts and our lifestyle. With that said, stay disciplined.
Peace, guys.
Peace.